Good afternoon, everyone. This is Bennett Forrest, your fantasy football commish, with the Week 13 weekly recap of the ForrestLand MishMash Fantasy Football League. It's coming down to the wire here. We have 1 week left of the regular season. Only one playoff berth has been clinched, so a lot to be determined in the final week of the season. A lot of it's going to have to do with tiebreakers, etc. So really exciting coming down to the finish line here. A lot to play for in Week 14. Only 3 or 4 teams are completely out of it. Let's go to the scoreboard real fast. Let's do a recap. As you can see, the Cartel clinching the #1 seed in the Mish division with a 6th win in a row, going to 10-3. Only team that'll be in double digits this year. They get the 5-point victory over You Got Beat by a Girl. Did make a good move there with E.J. Manuel over Eli Manning. That was a pretty ballsy move. Did net 7 extra points. Obviously, would have rather have had Steven Jackson's 21 points over Jared Boykin's 0 points. So obviously, that could have changed that would have changed the outcome there. But very nice try by You Got Beat by a Girl. Quick props to Sarah also for her Week 12 victory over the Slim Aussies. With very little to play for, and being out of the country at a wedding, she had a field goal kicker on a bye, but yet updated her lineup at the last minute on Monday to get an active kicker in there, and thus beating the Slim Aussies by about 10 points. Had she not done that, the Slim Aussies would have won the previous week. So credit to Sarah for sticking with her team. Even being out of the country would have been very easy to just not bother putting in a kicker, but she did that in time for Monday night, and she got the win in Week 12, in spite of being well out of the playoff hunt. So good job, Sarah, in Week 12. Obviously not quite enough in Week 13, but good job keeping up with your team and giving it the old college try. Nice job there. 2 games came down to Monday night where had things on Monday night been different, instead of the lead expanding, it would have shrunk and given the 2 teams losing a chance, but sort of fell the opposite way. What I mean by that is the Slim Aussies had a 42-point lead over the Travelers. The Travelers had Drew Brees and the Saints defense. Had Drew Brees had a monster night, as unlikely as it seems now in hindsight, scored 30, 35 points, plus the Saints defense with a couple picks or something, easily could have got 42, 43 points and pulled out the win. But alas, as anybody who watched the game knows, the Seahawks defense was just unbelievable, and the defense and et cetera, and the crowd noise. So Drew Brees with only 8 points obviously was not nearly enough to overtake the Slim Aussies. And the Slim Aussies pick up a game and actually have the tiebreaker. So the Travelers had a 1-game lead over the Aussies. The Aussies with the victories not only even the record, but pull ahead with the tiebreaker. So obviously good job for the Aussies, the 2-time defending champs, and very good playoff position to at least get the 4th seed. And again, just didn't break right for the Travelers on Monday night. Another game also with Monday night implications, the Stallions losing a real tough game, needed Marshawn Lynch and Jimmy Graham to have big days, which they obviously did not, and Russell Wilson to have a bad day. Again, everything the opposite of what was needed by the team going into the game happened, so therefore the score looks a lot uglier, but obviously 32 points from Russell Wilson combined with only 8 from Lynch and 13 from Jimmy Graham separated third and Oolong, who's actually in really good shape to make a playoff spot in the MASH division. So the Stallions, who had a 100-point plus lead in the total points earlier in the year, have come back down to earth. Now we're only 7-6 and probably need some help to get into the playoffs. But as we'll see in a minute, they're not out of it yet. So good job, third and Oolong, for getting over the 500 mark. Finally, we have the Calvinators also staying in the playoff hunt, going to 7-6 with a win over the Darth Taters. The only downside there is the Calvinators had Alshon Jeffrey in with 52 points, but had 0 from Aaron Dobson, who didn't even play. Meanwhile, Eric Decker on the bench had 50 points. So in spite of the win, the Calvinators could have gotten another 50 points, which may have helped in the tiebreaker scenario next week. But nonetheless, they get a 155-120 win. Again, they win their third in a row to go to 7-6, and the Darth Taters fall to 5-8. They've been eliminated from playoffs. So let's take a look at the standings now, and I'll try and paint some playoff scenarios for you, although it's difficult with so many tiebreakers. As you can see, the Cartel have locked up the number 1 seed. They're the only team that's going to have double-digit victories. They will be the 1 seed. Right now, Ray Finkel has a tiebreaker edge in points. If you look down here, has a nice 190-point lead over third and Oolong. So if Finkel wins, they're definitely going to be in. There's no way anybody's going to get a net 100 more points than Finkel. But if Finkel loses, then third and Oolong or the Calvinators could come in. A lot depends on who's playing whom this weekend. So again, I'm not even going to try and go through all the playoff scenarios, but third and Oolong and Ray Finkel Kicking Academy both lose. Calvinators have a good shot at winning the division in spite of having a lot less points than the other two teams. As far as the other side of the ledger, we have the Slim Aussies with a great shot. Obviously, a win clinches them second seed or third seed as the first wild card winner. The Travelers with a win would also get in, but if both of those teams lose, then the Stallions can creep up, or one of the 7-6 teams in the MASH division. So we'll take a look at who's playing whom this week to see who has a chance and who doesn't. But again, the third and fourth spots, or even the MASH division title, are way up for grabs. So 3 out of the 4 spots could go either way this weekend. So let's take a look at who's playing who to see if we can sort of project who has the best shot. As you can see, if the playoffs started today, this would be the playoff standing with the Kicking Academy winning the MASH division, getting the 2 seed. But let's look at the scoreboard. And let's skip ahead to week 14. So you have let's see. Take a quick look. So we have the Cartel versus the Taters is a meaningless game. No change in playoff implications there. But every other game looks to have playoff implications. Obviously, Ray Finkel and Slim Aussies is a big game. Look at only a 7-point spread on the line there. A lot could go either way there. Obviously, Finkel wins, they get the division. Slim Aussies win, they clinch the first wild card spot. And the Travelers, again, trying to stay in the 4th place with the second wild card spot. Obviously, the Calvinators looking for a win and a third and Oolong and a Kicking Academy loss to secure the MASH division title. And again, third and Oolong, same thing, looking for Finkel and Calvinators to lose. So basically, only one game with no playoff implications. Every other game is going to help decide things, like we saw in the playoff bracket. The Slim Aussies with the points have a very, very good shot of at least getting a wild card, even with a loss. But a lot remains to be seen there. So we'll have to see. So good luck to everyone this week. Thanks for everyone's patience with not having the updates. I know people are losing sleep over not having the updates, but thanks for listening today and watching, and I hope that everyone has good luck in Week 14. Of course, if you haven't sent your money in, it's very, very important to get it in. I really want to have everyone's money in hand before the playoffs start. That's 4 Adams Lane, West Hartford, Connecticut. Those of you who have not paid, you know who you are. Please get the money to me ASAP. I will remind you in the email as well. So good luck in Week 14, and obviously a lot to play for. We'll see how the playoffs shake out come Monday night. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.